The night the fire came, the wind carried more than smoke, it carried vengeance. Jack Carver's ranch sat quiet under a wide Montana sky, his horses restless in the stables, when the first flames licked the fence line. By the time he grabbed his rifle and sprinted outside, the horizon was alive, orange waves swallowing everything he'd built. He heard engines roaring off down the dirt road, men laughing through the crackle. The kind of laugh that told him this wasn't an accident. He ran into the barn, coughing, cutting the rope of his favorite stallion, Ranger. The horse bolted out, eyes wild. Jack stumbled after him, his lungs burning. The fire moved faster than thought. By dawn, only ash and twisted metal remained. The Carver brand, generations old, turned to cinders. Sheriff Dalton came later that morning, hat low, sympathy rehearsed. "Probably lightning," he said. Jack just stared at the blackened earth. "Lightning doesn't drive a pickup," he answered. That night, sitting on the tailgate of his truck, he made a silent vow. He'd find who did this, and when he did, they'd learn what legends were made of. 3 weeks later, the town of Redwood was buzzing. Folks whispered that Jack had lost it. He'd been seen at the scrapyard welding before sunrise, cutting metal sheets, buying old parts. He rented no crews, no architects, just grit and obsession. Every day he rebuilt something strange out of junk, a corral wall here, a blacksmith forge there. A man who'd lost everything but his will. Sheriff Dalton tried to talk sense into him. "Jack, insurance'll cover some of it. Let the law handle the rest." Jack just smirked. "Law's got coffee breaks. I don't." Across town, trouble brewed. Travis Boyd, local developer with political friends and dirty boots, had been trying to buy out Jack's land for months. He'd send offers, then threats, and finally men with matches. When Jack didn't fold, Travis laughed over whiskey. "He'll sell or he'll burn again." But one of his men, a young farmhand named Eli, didn't laugh. He'd seen Jack saving horses from the fire, nearly dying to cut them loose. That image stuck with him. Eli started leaving notes. Anonymous warnings slipped under Jack's door. "They'll come back. Bigger next time." Jack read every word, lit his cigarette with the paper, and smiled like a man sharpening a blade. He wasn't rebuilding a ranch. He was building a trap. When they came, it wasn't fire this time, it was fury. Midnight trucks rolled through the gate, headlights cutting across the open yard. Jack waited in silence inside his workshop, a revolver on his hip and a strange machine humming behind him. Travis stepped out first, leather jacket, cigarette glowing. "You could have sold, Jack. Could have walked away clean." Jack's voice was calm, steel under sand. "You should have made sure the fire finished me." Travis sneered and motioned to his men. They advanced, but the ground shook. Jack slammed a lever. Floodlights roared to life, blinding them, revealing the real barn, a fortress of welded steel, rigged with motion-triggered sprinklers and alarms. A decoy ranch, built from his fury. As the men scattered, the gates locked automatically, trapping them inside. Eli appeared from the shadows, shotgun in hand. "Told you they'd come back," he said. Jack nodded, stepping out into the open. Gunfire cracked, echoing off metal. Jack moved fast, ducking behind beams, the chaos of light and smoke turning the ranch into a war zone. Travis ran for his truck but found Jack waiting by the driver's door. Jack's voice was quiet enough to cut through the gunfire. "This land was my father's. You burned our past. Now I'll forge my future on your ashes." He pulled the trigger. The shot sent Travis sprawling, not dead, but broken, pinned to the dirt as sirens wailed in the distance. Jack looked up at the burning horizon and muttered, "Now they'll all come see." By morning, the place was crawling with cops, reporters, and townsfolk. Smoke drifted off the scorched metal walls like ghosts of the old ranch. Sheriff Dalton walked through the wreckage, hat in hand, staring at the twisted iron sculptures Jack had built, every piece shaped into a symbol of his story, a stallion midleap, a burning fence, a phoenix rising. "You call this justice?" the sheriff asked quietly. Jack, hands cuffed, smiled through the grime. No, Sheriff. I call it memory. The court case dragged for months, headlines calling him the rancher vigilante. But something strange happened. Letters started pouring in, from farmers, veterans, even strangers across the country, thanking him for standing up to the kind of men who thought money was fireproof. Eli testified, told the truth, and when Travis tried to spin lies, the jury saw right through him. Jack walked free. He returned to the ashes and built one last thing, a monument, tall and silent, forged from the same scrap that once trapped his enemies. He called it the Forge. Tourists came. Schools brought kids. They'd read the plaque at its base. They burned his ranch. He built a legend instead. Years later, when the wind passed through the valley, locals swore they could still hear a faint hammering in the night. A man somewhere out there, still working, still building, still making sure his story was never reduced to smoke.